Shana tova, Happy New Year. Welcome to the High Holy Days at Temple Anshe Amunim. I'm Rabbi Liz Hirsch. At is a funny word these days. We have redefined what it means to be at temple, what it means to be at home. The lines between sacred spaces and regular, everyday spaces have blurred. So when you're here with us, welcoming in a new year, we are at Temple Anshe Amunim, even if we are not physically together in our sanctuary. We are at TAA and at Erev Rosh Hashanah because Judaism is a religion that exists in both time and in space. When we recited our festival Kiddush, we sanctified our time. We welcomed Shabbat and our new year. We so wish we were together in our temple home this year. Instead, we are bringing temple home to you, as we have done since March with our Shabbat services, events, committee and board meetings, gatherings large and small. We have celebrated together and mourned together. We have supported each other and laughed with each other. Guided by our values, we are putting health and safety at the forefront. We are bringing the holidays to you in a way that is safe, meaningful, and full of the familiar sights and sounds of TAA. It is traditional for clergy to begin Erev Rosh Hashanah with a prayer called the Hineni. Hineni means, behold, here I am, I of little merit, seek to offer prayers and supplications on behalf of my community. I, your rabbi, am human. Our High Holy Day cantorial soloist, Rachel Slusky, who joins us once again for these holidays, is also human. I am human. I am imperfect. I am here doing my best under the circumstances, trying to do right by my community. Thank you for putting your faith and trust in me. I hope that what we share with you throughout the High Holy Days lives up to the spirit of this Hineni prayer. We are here doing our best. Our best is not what we would want. We know that this is a unique, challenging time that demanded a unique response. We know that we'll be together again. And we have worked hard to bring us together as best we can, even under these circumstances. Tonight, you will hear the beautiful and uplifting voices of our TAA volunteer choir. You will hear from our temple president, Lanny Zuckerman. I am so grateful to our leadership, staff, and the many others who worked behind the scenes, literally, to make these unprecedented High Holy Days happen. We welcome you into the High Holy Days, saying not just Hineni, but also Hineni, here I am. The response given by our ancestors and prophets when called upon by God for sacred purpose. Hineni, I am here, ready, willing, and able. I am present. I am ready. I invite you to do what you need to do to feel present in your space, even though it's not the space you typically occupy for the High Holy Days. If we were at temple, I'd be asking you right about now to turn off your cell phones and other electronic devices. Of course, you will still need some form of electronics to access our service together today. But maybe you still want to put your phone into Do Not Disturb mode as you center your focus on our High Holy Day worship, beginning the sacred work of welcoming in a new year. Hineni, I seek to offer prayers on behalf of my community, with my community. Hineni, I am here. Shana tova and welcome. The gates are open. Pitchuli, the new year is here. Your book of life doesn't begin today on Rosh Hashanah. It began when you were born. Some of the chapters were written by other people, your parents, siblings, and teachers. Parts of your book were crafted out of experiences you had because of other people's decisions. Where you lived, what schools you went to, what your homes were like. But the message of Rosh Hashanah, the anniversary of the creation of the world, is that everything can be made new again. That much of your book is written every day by the choices you make. The book is not written and sealed. You get to edit it, decide what parts you want to emphasize and remember, and maybe even which parts you want to leave behind. Shana tova means both a good year and a good change. Today, you can change the rest of your life. It is never too late.
Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are born and renewed again. Return again.
Shana tova. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to speak to you this evening as your temple president, as we welcome the new year. The high holidays are a culmination of a period of personal reflection and self-examination that began a month ago at the beginning of the Hebrew month of Elul. While we perhaps focus internally more during this period, I think that the idea of personal examination is an ongoing process as you deal with the ups and downs of life, the challenges and the joys. I reflect on the journey that I've taken in the past few years that's brought me to this place and time. I've been a member of this temple for years. Due to some personal changes in my life, I decided to join this congregation, not really sure where it would lead me. To repeat a quote from Martin Buber that Rabbi Liz made me aware of, and which I love, all journeys have secret destinations of which the traveler is unaware. I knew that I'd get involved in social action, but not much more than that. What I found was that the services and then Torah study tapped into a spiritual side that I didn't know I had. I also found a welcoming community with incredibly caring and dedicated people that I wanted to embrace. I dove in, the result that I found myself in the position as your president with its challenges, most certainly with its joys. The Temple has a rich 150-year history as a Reformed congregation. Judaism has always had an evolving nature and ability to adapt to a changing society while retaining its core principles. Right now, we find ourselves in an unprecedented time. Out of necessity, we're holding our services this year entirely virtually, but our values and our sense of community will prevail. Know that our beloved building is certainly important to us as a place to gather, a place to find inspiration, a place to celebrate, a place to embrace one another. The building, however, is not what makes the congregation. It's the people, the community, the caring for one another that continues to go on in an even more heightened way. We may not be able to physically embrace, but there's no question that we have continued to strongly embrace one another. There's a reason that we refer to ourselves as a temple family. I know that our services and the entire High Holy Day experience are going to be creative, meaningful, and inspiring. I want to give thanks to all those who have worked so hard to put everything together, and to thank in advance all those who are going to participate. First of all, I want to thank Rabbi Liz. She's provided inspired leadership and guidance in the conceptualization, design, and execution of all that's going to happen. I'm thrilled to have Cantor Rachel Slusky join us once again this year, now as an ordained cantor, to help bring musical richness to our services. Musical richness is enhanced by the always incredible work of our music director, Alan Gold, and the members of our choir. Thanks have to go to Yael Farber, who has been brought on board as a special project manager to help coordinate the many moving parts of this experience. Also deserving of thanks is Ryan Cowdery, the technical coordinator of our virtual services, who has skillfully woven everything together, and Cantor Jacob Harris, who provided audio mixing and backup vocals. Special thanks have to go to our facilities manager, now special technical jack of all trades, Dave Wallace, for his work assisting those who needed it to make sure that all members of the congregation are able to get online and participate in the services. And special thanks need to be given to Officer Manager Administrator Diane Coach, who does such incredible work making sure that myriad tasks get done and that everything runs smoothly. I also want to thank Mike Duffy and Hannah Gelman, who will be our chauffeur blowers, Deb Cole Duffy, Alba Passerini, and Janie Pellish as caring committee chairs, who also organized our drive-through Machzor pickup day, and Zelda Schwabel for beautiful at-home bima flowers for Rabbi Liz. Aside from the need to adapt to how we operate in the face of the pandemic, our temple has gone and continues to go through a period of transition as we continue to evolve to best meet the needs of our members and those who are not yet members. We now have Rabbi Liz as our settled rabbi for 2 years transitional position. We're so lucky to have her as she guides us, leads us in prayer and in song, educates us, provides compassionate pastoral care, and so much more. We have an evolving lay leadership, where we're also in a time of transition, with a combination of those who are relatively new, like myself, and those who have served in leadership for many years. I'm following Josh Cutler, who served so very strongly as president, and who continues to provide his support and wisdom. Barbara Vinier, who like me is also relatively new, is working hand in hand with me as vice president. We have a strong management team that includes, besides Barbara and me, Secretary Mike Duffy, Robin Rosen, and Treasurer Nan Gagnon. Along with the rest of the board, we're looking to provide a vision and to meet the evolving needs of our temple family and those who may become part of that family, while continuing to be mindful of the past, of the rich history of this congregation. I need to make special mention of our members of the year, Andy Hochberg and Deb Cole Duffy, who along with Josh and others who have been longtime leaders, provide wise guidance and assistance with their knowledge of all things Temple Anshe. I'd also like to mention the strong role of our Social Action Committee, so ably led by Larry and Janie Pellish, as it pursues the work of Tikkun Olam, the great work of Barbara Wasserman as chair of the membership committee, with a number of new members recently joining, the work of Rachel Alamany, who over many years has worked with our youth, and Alba Passerini and the House Committee. Once we're back in our building, you'll be able to see that it's in the best shape it's ever been. If you're not already involved in temple life or would like to get more involved, there are many ways that you can do so, whether it's through leadership, participating on a committee, or lending your talents to a task or two. We welcome your participation, your ideas, and your energy. We, of course, also welcome whatever financial assistance you're able to give. As you know, an anonymous congregational family has once again this year pledged to match $10,000 in supplemental dues. We'll continue to match dollar for dollar congregational donations up to $15,000. We're well on our way to meeting these goals, so thank you for your continued generosity. I wish that we could all be together in person to greet each other in our beloved building, where we will hopefully be able to return sooner rather than later. But please accept my virtual embrace and wishes for a sweet new year. Shana tova tikatevu. May we all be inscribed in the book of life as we welcome 5781.
A taste of shofar, our wake-up call. Tikhu v'chodesh shofar, at the new moon, at the full moon, for our feast day, sound the shofar. For that is the law of Israel, the way of the God of Jacob. Baruch atah Adonai, shomea kol truat amo Yisrael berachamim. Blessed are you in our lives, Adonai. You hear with love the shofar, true voice of your people Israel. Tekiah. Hearkening to the call of the shofar, we take a few moments now for silent prayer, for personal reflection. On this eve of our new year, I invite you to use this as a time to turn inward, using the words of our Amidah in our prayer book, our Machzor, or simply taking a few moments to yourself to begin that process of returning to yourself, of returning to your intentions, of looking back at the year that has passed and looking ahead to the year in front of us. A few moments for silent prayer.
Ritzei Adonai Eloheinu be'amecha Yisrael u'tefilatam be'ahava tikabel u'tihi liratzon tamid
after a long illness, I was permitted for the first time to step outdoors. And as I crossed the threshold, sunlight greeted me. So long as I live, I shall never forget that moment. And everywhere in the firmament above me, in the great vault between earth and sky, on the pavements, the buildings, the golden glow of sunlight. It touched me too with friendship, with warmth, with blessing. And I remembered how often I had been indifferent to the sunlight, how often preoccupied with petty and sometimes mean concerns, I had disregarded it. And I said to myself, how precious is the sunlight, but alas, how careless of it we are. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, u'lecha na'eh lehodot. Source of blessing, may we open our eyes to the radiance around us. May we open our hearts with gratitude and our souls with appreciation.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech adon lechol hashalom. V'tov b'necha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. בספר חיים ברכה ושלום. ברכה ושלום ופרנסה טובה. ברכה ושלום. נזכר ונקטיב לפניך. אנחנו וכל עמך בית ישראל. לחיים טובים ושלום. ברוך אתה אדוני עושה
This is a mishaberach for those who climbed daily into their cars, buses, subways, and trains, for those who lost their jobs, homes, and food, for those anxiously waiting for what the future will bring. This is a mishaberach for those who lost loved ones, colleagues, and friends, in loneliness, in helplessness, without us noticing. This is for the addicts, the ones in need of medication, the ones in need of group support and therapy, who struggle with the absence of healthy habits. This is for the children, the elderly, and the ones with intellectual disabilities who do not understand why their lives suddenly and so drastically changed. This is for the ones who faced hells of violence and abuse in their homes without us being able to hear their screams. This is for the ones our free meals did not reach, the ones whose big dreams had to shrink, the ones whose futures are forever altered. This is for the ones who needed to stay at home, coughing and gasping for air, the ones so often lonely in their hospital beds, while others could not rest. This is a Mishaberach. May the God who is a source of blessing remember the crying voice of God's children, suffering, anxious, and numb in their pain. God, hear our pain. God, heal our pain. El na rifana la. We ask for God's blessing as we offer this prayer of healing.
Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Avinu Malkeinu, strong was the faith of generations before us. In exile they proclaimed enduring hope. In the shadow of persecution, they affirmed a transcendent love and compassion. Ours is a different age, less confident and certain, more tentative in its trust. There are many who say to the works of their hands, "You are our gods." But when our worship centers on our own creations, we feel less gratitude, more doubt and despair. This is the paradox of our spiritual lives. We grow smaller in self-exaltation, nobler when we reach for you. On this night of return, let us find the humility to come close to you and open ourselves to your presence. For you are absent only when we fail to make room for you in our hearts, distant only when we turn away from you. Now, as others have done before us, let us overcome doubt and speak these words of affirmation. We call you Avinu. As a loving parent, forgive our wrongs and failings. Accept us in our human frailty. We call you Malkeinu. As sovereign of our souls, help us rise from our brokenness to build a world of shalom. To this vision, we offer ourselves anew.
Avinu Malkeinu, Shema Koleinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Chatanu lefanecha. Avinu Malkeinu, Chamol aleinu, ve'alol aleinu, v'tapeinu. Avinu Malkeinu, מלכנו, כלך צר, ומסטין מעלינו. אבינו מלכנו, אבינו מלכנו, כותבנו בספר חיינו. אבינו מלכנו, קודש עלינו, קודש עלינו, שנה טובה. אבינו מלכנו, מלכנו, קדש עלינו, שנה טובה. אבינו מלכנו, שמע קולנו, שמע קולנו, שמע קולנו. אמן.
Home, community, nation, world. Throughout the High Holy Days, I'll be exploring these circles of connection. Like a ripple from a pebble tossed into a pristine lake, like the call of a shofar, a great tekiah blast echoing beyond. And this year, a year unlike any other, beginning right in our homes. Home. This year, the idea of home has changed dramatically for so many of us. This year, home became both a place of comfort and a place of frustration, sometimes simultaneously. Many of us felt blessed to have a safe haven, a comfortable place to spend our days of quarantining and distancing. And yet, whether only in the initial months of the year or continuing to this day, many of us feel stuck at home in ways we have never experienced before. A place of comfort and strength, and a place of frustration and isolation. Since March, I have had many moments of feeling grateful to have a home, a safe place to be and live. I have also had my fair share of moments of annoyance and anger that home was one of the only places I could be. This summer, as some of you know, I moved to a new home in Lenox. For me, it was a concrete reminder that a house or apartment is what we call the physical places where we live, and a home is what we make of it. When we move into a new home, it is a Jewish custom to hang a mezuzah. This ritual is one way we can transform a house, wood, concrete, stone, and metal, into a home. This symbol not only signifies that a home is filled with Jewish values, it roots us in our home. As we learn in our midrash, our interpretive, creative storytelling tradition, a student asked a teacher, "Please, teach me, is one permitted to recite the Shema while traveling?" So answered the teacher, "One is forbidden to recite the Shema while traveling. One is required to stand still, directing one's heart to the heavens in awe and reverence while proclaiming the oneness of God. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Eternal is our God, the Eternal is one." One must speak each word with heartfelt sincerity and then softly add the words, Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Blessed is God's name forever and ever. One is required to stand still. Of course, as the words of our Ve'ahavta continue, we recite these words when we stay at home and when we are on our way, when we lie down and when we rise up. When you stand still and when you stay at home, words that take on new meaning for us in these unprecedented times. Before we hung mezuzot in our new home, it was a house, not a home. The transformative power of ritual, the blessings we spoke, the words of Shema and Ve'ahavta on a small piece of parchment rolled up inside each one, all of this reminded us that when we stand still and when we stay at home, we are connected to our tradition, to our history, to Jews around the world. Shema Yisrael, listen Israel, you are one and God is one. Even if we resent staying at home during the pandemic, even as we are isolated and separated from each other, we are connected with our friends, family, community, nation, and people throughout the world who are doing the same. And even if we struggle with loneliness or boredom, I pray that we each find moments of stillness, of rest, of appreciation, of peace and calm. Home is both a physical place and an ineffable feeling. Often it's the people we live with, or the people we miss, who make us feel most at home. For each of us missing family, friends right now, I pray that we will continue to stay connected with our loved ones and find new ways to make each other feel at home. The things we do at home have dramatically expanded during this time. Home isn't just a place to sleep, eat, and do our yard work. Home has become a place for virtual birthday parties, classes, lectures and exams, conferences and conventions, virtual rallies and lobbying days, and yes, Shabbat services and High Holy Day gatherings. We've redefined what we can do at home, even if we'd ideally do those things in person. Earlier this summer, my heart filled with joy when I watched The Wizard of Oz, my all-time favorite movie, with my 3-year-old son for the first time. Dorothy's famous words struck me in a new way. There's no place like home. There's no place like home. This year, may we each make our homes into a small sanctuary, a mikdash me'at. While we are not gathering in our temple home, we are home because we are gathering together in all the ways we can during this season. May we redefine the places we spend much of our times as homes, as sacred space. May we stand still, and may we love the stillness, even as we miss the bustle and the noise. May we feel at home wherever we are. Shana tova. This Shabbat, this Rosh Hashanah, our temple family is observing the following yahrzeits. We remember Phil Kamenstein, husband of Rhoda Kamenstein, Murray Gallant, father of Deborah Gallant, Alan A. Solon, Ethel Shapiro, mother of Howard Shapiro, Roy D. Pastor, parent of Audrey Salzman, Dr. Joseph Tolgan, parent of Hank Tolgan, Sophie S. Honig, Milton Gordon, husband of Annette Gordon, Edith Zuckerman Evans, mother of Lanny Zuckerman, Martha Renee Salzman, Harry B. Baker, Bernard Ohlenberg, remembered by Gloria Rappaport, Evelyn Berger, aunt of Hope Hagler, Eva Levitt, remembered by Mark Selkowitz. Henry Windisch, remembered by Jackie Shayer. Belle Holsberg, parent of Joy Parks. Harry Holsberg, parent of Joy Parks. We join together, remembering all of our loved ones, honoring them with words of Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, b'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, b'agala u'vizman kariv v'yamru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudasha b'richu. Le'ela u'le'ela mikol birchata v'shirata, tush bechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'yamru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'yamru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'yamru amen. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be a blessing for us all.
Adon olam Hashem alaf, b'terem kol yitzir nivra, le'ed nasa v'chefzo kol, azai melech shemo nikra, azai melech shemo nikra, ve'acharei kichlot hakol, levado yimloch nora, ve'hu haya ve'hu hove, ve'hu yeh b'tifara, ve'hu yeh b'tifara, ve'hu echad ve'ein sheni, lehamshilo lehachbira, ve'li reishit ve'li tachlit, ve'lo ha'oz ve'hamisra, ve'lo ha'oz ve'hamisra, ve'hu eli ve'chai goli, ve'tzur chavli ve'etzara, ve'hu nisi u'manosli, menat kosi b'yom ekra, menat kosi b'yom ekra, ve'yado afkid ruchi, ve'eti shan ve'ayira, ve'im ruchi geviati, Adonai li ve'lo ira, Adonai li ve'lo ira.
God, may the new year be a sweet year for us. Even with its challenges, hardships, and struggles. May the eve of 5781 be the beginning of a new chapter. May we find strength and support from our family, our friends. May we be blessed with health, safety, and love. May we transform our homes into a small sanctuary, a mikdash me'at, so that we may know sanctity and shelter in our homes. May we find new ways to connect this year, knowing that our virtual spaces are imperfect, but they are vital. May we be blessed with togetherness, happiness, and peace. Shana tova.